What's up? I hope all is well with you. I'm doing pretty good. I got something a little interesting that I want to try out, figure out together. It's a failure challenge. What do I mean by that? I think we all need challenges in our lives. And in this case, at least for me, and hopefully you'll get something out of this, probably you'll give me some ideas. But I don't want to succeed in this challenge, meaning that hopefully I learn more than succeeding. A lot of times in my life, I learn a lot more from the failures, the struggles, and all that crap, right? So I think this is probably going to be the second or the first failure challenge. And it's not going to be easy. Since you are hopefully enjoying the video, if you like, subscribe. Let's talk about the parameters and then we'll go from there, okay? 150 degrees failure gauntlet challenge. Okay, so I either have the option of using the Hario V60 or the Hario V60 switch. I haven't decided yet. Water temperature, 150 degrees Fahrenheit or 65 degrees Celsius. But in this case, we're using a light roast, so that makes it even harder, okay? So the next thing, filters. We're gonna use a fast filter. So we aren't going to be able to extract as much as we can if we were using a regular filter. No agitations. I don't really do that anyway, but I think that will help out my cause in this situation. That's part of the challenge, right? Grind setting, ultra fine. In this case, I went ahead and did my usual grind setting in the Kin Grinder K6 model. That's the only saving grace for me in this challenge. It's fine coffee. So we'll see if we can actually use that to the best of our ability in order to extract coffee from this whole experiment. Brew ratio. Here's another one. This is extremely difficult. 1 to 20 ratio. Think about that. 1 to 20 ratio. I am not, more than likely I won't succeed in this challenge. We'll see how everything works out and all that stuff, but I do a 1 to 20 ratio, okay? Time constraints. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That's the max time that I can actually use in order to do this challenge. So I'm just gonna cut it at 2 minutes and 30 seconds if the brew is not done, okay? More than likely, I'll probably use a switch for that reason. Coffee dose. So we're gonna do a 15 gram coffee dose. So that means that we are going to be doing the max amount of water, 1 to 20, 300 grams, 2.5 minutes. Wow. That's going to be kind of crazy, right? TDS target. We're going to be going for a 1.15 to 1.35 for that ratio and everything. So hopefully we can at least get 1 to 15. So again, why would you do this? Sometimes we get bored with coffee. At least me, I do. I do the same ratio, I do the same pour, I do the same techniques and all that. But I'm always curious to see if coffee can still be tasty doing different recipes and stuff. And I'm sure you probably tried different recipes and stuff, but think about it. We are the creatures of habit, right? I am, at least. So with that being said, these are the parameters that we're going to go for. And we're going to see if we can actually do something about it, okay? So we're going to use this server right here. We're going to use a Hario V60 switch. So you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. We may zoom in and do all that good stuff. And we're going to use a fast filter. So how can I really accomplish the goal of brewing a decently extracted coffee, but again, more importantly, flavorful cup of coffee with all the parameters that we have to deal with, okay? Again, the saving grace really is just fineness in this coffee. And this coffee is relatively fine. I mean, it's relatively light roast. This is what it looks like. If you can see that, the valve is up, so it's not doing anything. Okay. So we're really putting all the knowledge that we have in our arsenal. We know that we're dealing with light roast. We know that we're dealing with a coffee that is grinded pretty fine. So again, that's the only saving grace that we have in this particular challenge, is that we'll be able to use that to our advantage, okay? I think the other thing that we can do in order to make sure that we have a chance of actually brewing a decent cup of coffee is, I think, a little bit longer on the actual, probably put a little bit more water, probably do about 100 grams of water inside the vessel. Do that for about 30 seconds because I'm still have time that I have to brew this cup of coffee. So after 30 seconds, that's when I'll pour the second amount. The first part, I think what I'll do is go up all the way to 200 degrees. Not 200 degrees, I'm sorry. 200. I'm just rambling. So the first thing that I'll do is go up to 100 grams of actual water and do that for 30 seconds. And then depending on the situation, see how fast it actually moves through the bed of coffee, and working with my time, I may do a couple of pulses again, because I want to be able to make sure that I extract as much as I can out of this coffee. I may do 150. We do 150 and then it drains out for 30 seconds. And then all I would have to do is pour in another 150 grams. Let's see if we can do that. We'll do that. We'll try that, okay? We'll try that constraint. Again, we can't stir, we can't do anything. And once the coffee is done, we're done with the coffee at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. All right, I have a lot of constraints right now and hope to God that it does actually taste decent. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do a 30-second bloom on 150 grams, okay? And then we're gonna start a timer and everything too. There we go. Let's stop it at 100. I just want it to settle down and everything, and we'll see how it works. But we poured for about 20, 30 seconds, okay? And I'm not gonna put it back on the kettle because it kind of doesn't matter as much right now, okay? Still bubbling. Again, I'm racing against time right now. Okay, I do have a place to where I do see a decent line of where the coffee's at right now. So I'm only pouring to that amount just so we can get as much extraction as we can. Okay, it's doing something. We're about 150 grams in, about a minute in. And for the most part, I am pouring right in the middle. So that's fine the way it is right now, but that's what it is. And we're gonna see how all of it works. Again, a minute and 17, 13 seconds. Okay. 188. 240, almost there. I want to get to 300. Okay, so we're at 300 grams of water inside the cup. We got about 40 seconds, okay? You're seeing everything live. Well, you're not seeing it live, but you're seeing it right now. And then no matter what, we're gonna stop this at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, it's doing pretty good. It's still going fast, but I may have not extracted as much as I wanted. So we'll see. Okay, it's choking, but it's still extracting. It's still drawing down. Almost there. There we go. We're done. Okay, so we're done. Pencils down. I just stopped it a little bit later, but you saw me stop it. I guess we completed the challenge. We completed it, but we don't know if we actually passed. There we go. Okay, here's our tester. So now let's see if it actually tastes any good, okay? Because that's really the thing that we're really curious about, okay? Because if it doesn't taste good, then what's the fucking point of doing this, right? And there we go. So the temperature of this coffee, wow, 118 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not room temp, but you know, it's a lot lower than what we usually drink coffee. We usually drink coffee about 150, something like that. So, cheers. No real acidity on it, just a little bit. A little bit of grapefruity type of taste to it. Which, if you don't know already, I'm not that big of a fan. But then it just kind of dies and everything, and there's not that much taste. There's not that much flavor in this cup of coffee. It's getting a little better. Yeah, I don't know. I think I have really failed this challenge. And I'm sure you're wondering why you would actually do this, right? You probably don't think there's a need to actually brew a cup of coffee at 150 degrees. And for the most part, I'll agree with you. You don't really need to, because it's very hard to extract coffee at that low of a temperature. I think it is possible, but with all the parameters and the things that I've done with this particular coffee, I don't think it's really possible, but it does not tasty. So I think I felt in that case that it's not tasty. I know the biggest thing was the TDS and everything, but if the TDS is right and it doesn't taste good, It doesn't matter. But we're going to see if we can actually extract coffee at this level and seeing what we can do with our next challenges moving forward, right? Because I think that's going to be the biggest takeaway as we try to do these things. So 115 to 135. Just what I'm tasting, I don't even think I hit 1. Extraction is there. Again, I got lucky with the actual fineness of the challenge that helped extract something. I think taking it to 150 degrees grams in initial bloom wouldn't have mattered much at all. Let's kind of cool down. Let's see what we're dealing with. Oh, wow. Interesting. Wow. Okay. From this reading, what I'm seeing right here is 1.37. So I was able to complete the challenge. According to the challenge, I succeeded. I did it. So I got 1.36. So I did complete the challenge, but the coffee tastes like shit. It really does. It doesn't really taste like anything of greatness to me. I don't know, because it's light roast. It is what it is. So I'm able to extract the coffee, use the fast filters. I'm glad I did, because this would probably been extremely over extracted. I can probably play around with the grinds and everything, but what does this really mean for us? This is a light roasted coffee. I'm really shocked that I was able to actually extract the amount of extraction that I was able to get out of this particular coffee, but it doesn't taste good. That's the thing. Sometimes when we deal with like a TDS meter, things and parameters are set in a way to where we hit the ideal target place of this actual coffee. It's not tasty. It doesn't do it for me. It's not something that I would do. This is not a recipe that I will want to repeat, you know? Do you go through that sometimes? I'm sure you probably don't have a TDS meter. You don't really need one, but whenever you try out a recipe with that new cool coffee that you may have, or a coffee that you're familiar with, did that recipe hit the mark for you? Those are some of the things that I think about all the time. Even though I was able to accomplish this challenge, or beating this challenge, or getting there, I don't think I really did, because it's not tasty. We don't drink and eat our coffee based off numbers. It's what's in our palate. So even though I did theoretically beat the challenge, I didn't really beat the challenge because I don't like this cup of coffee, you know? So what are we gonna do about that? How can we make this coffee tasty? Maybe you have a couple of questions and ideas that I can try in order to enjoy a lightly roasted coffee, even at 150 degrees, but still, it's not tasty. It doesn't do it for me. It probably won't do it for you. You can go ahead and try this out. The exact same recipe, but it still didn't do anything for me. There's still a lot of room to work on, but I do like trying these crazy, wacky experiments, because these are some of the things that I learned from, and hopefully that you learn from too. But something about 150 degrees, it is truly really possible to make a tasty cup, I think, even at 150 degrees. We haven't figured out, determined that recipe, but we're gonna get there. And once we get there, it'll be a cool journey together, because you'll start brewing your cup of coffee at 150 degrees. I don't know really why, but we're going to figure that out as we get more into this type of discovery. Because sometimes the why keeps us going, but if we don't really understand the why, that's perfectly fine. We just know that it works because of whatever variable situation that we're dealing with. So I've rambled long enough. Let me know what you think. I'll talk to you later. Bye.